What is an archetype? Those dreams that have become a trap for the saints. They are the reflection of the moon-faced, abstract realities of Allah's orchard. Mevlana. A respected friend of mine, who has been my sincere and devoted friend for more than 30 years, said to me, "Haja, you always talk about archetypes in your writings. The public doesn't understand this," he said. At first I said that the public does not understand abstract and universal things. We cannot explain them, but then I thought about it at night. I realized that my friend's proposal was right. Therefore, I had to write this long explanation. It is as follows. Ark, in Greek, means the thing at the bottom, at the top. Tip means the type and model we know and use in Turkish. Together, they mean the model at the very beginning, at the bottom. Some people call it prototype. The scientific explanation of this dictionary meaning is as follows. In existence, and especially in life, there are abstract and concrete veins. These are complementary and sometimes intertwined realities. Every abstract has one or even countless concretes, and every concrete has its own all-encompassing abstract laws. Therefore, all physical and biological laws exist in the subconscious mind of man and the universe as concrete types. Because even if the universe is very big, it too has a kind of life and personality. It too has a mind and a subconscious. The philosophers and wise people whose subconscious sense has been opened have called the physical laws of the universe the white pearl. They have also named the biological and ecological realm as an immortal personality and as Heiser, which literally means green. Sufis have called the subconscious of the universe the âlem-i misal, and the subconscious of the human being the imagination. The archetypes in them, Plato called ideas, Ibn Arabi called âlem-i sâbite, unchanging models. These subconscious concrete images and formations are sometimes called angels and sometimes souls. For example, all agriculture on earth is reflected as a concrete ox. All the fishing in the world appears as a huge whale. These subconscious personalities and realities come to the rescue of people in difficult times. Bahaeddin Baysai places a bullet weighing 250 kilograms into the cannon. Yes, all great works and extraordinary arts are the result of the subconscious realm. This is where the popular saying, Heiser came to the rescue, comes from. Now let's come to the issue of Adam, which we call the archetype. Here, humanity was created with a software that evolved for 9 million years, evolving a little more every million years. For the last 150,000 years, it has completed its biological development. Then it has undergone countless psychological and cultural developments. Finally, it has acquired abstract perception. When mankind reached this state, as mentioned in the book of Genesis, Allah and the angels said, Adam, man, has become like one of us in knowing good and evil. 3:22. This is because Allah and the angels are beings of abstract perception. So this archetype and prototype has a concrete model in the human subconscious, beardless, knowing all kinds of languages, perceiving all abstract values. This archetype is the image of a law called humanity, in which 50 billion sample human beings hang like a rope. Sometimes he is a prophet, according to tradition, and sometimes he is a polytheist, according to verse 189 of Arafat. Because Adamaism is a law, 50 billion human specimens are hung on it. Half of these people are believers and half are idolaters. The name of each of these specimens in grammar books is Masadak. Masadak means the sample that makes those infinite abstract laws of humanity true. Yes, all the examples I have shown in my textual analysis of the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran are not the whole meaning. They are only samples of very long laws. Yes, all prophets and heroic personalities are concrete archetypes of such universal laws. But their examples may not be 50 billion, but 50,000, for example. Yes, all the heroes of sacred texts, especially the prophets, are laws and missions. We need to look for them not only in history, but also in our own society and subconscious. Unfortunately, some leaders with strong clairvoyance, for example, when they saw this Adam archetype, they really thought he was a biological being at the beginning of history, like Bahaeddin and Ibn Arabi. Although they knew very well the difference between the law and the specimens hung on the law, they explained the matter as if it were real because they had full confidence in their discoveries. Their successors, on the other hand, deny facts such as evolution, which have been discovered and observed by dozens of scientific disciplines, and thus cause great harm to the peace between religion and science. There are two important scientific points that emerge from this explanation. Namely, A. In ancient mythological language, they called both God and angels immortal. In fact, most of them were not polytheists. But for lack of language, they used the same word for immortal souls, angels and God. Unfortunately, the translators of the archaeological tablets failed to see this point. The first chapters of the Torah, the religious accumulation of the mythological period, recognized this difference. It has come down to us clearly. For example, the verse, angels descended upon Noah's sacrifices, August 21st, is translated by contemporary archaeologists as gods descended upon the sacrifices. We can see this clearly in the Gilgamesh epic. B. Since both abstract laws and their concrete archetypes in the subconscious are immortal, and since the Torah is a book of archetypes with thousands of heroes, Allah says in the Quran, "We have revealed the Torah so that you may believe in meeting Allah, that is, in immortality. We sent down the Torah so that you may believe in meeting with Allah, that is, in immortality." 6/154. On March 5, 2023, I wrote the following lines for the explanation of this issue. I hope that with this introductory information the matter will be fully understood. It is as follows. 1. The Torah, in the words of the Quran, Quran 6/154, we have sent down the Torah as spirituality and intangible values, benediction, and as an explanation of everything, tafsil, because it is law, and as a means to eternity and success, guidance and mercy. So you are expected to believe firmly in the resurrection, the meeting with Allah, the immortal. Yes, when we interpret the heroes of the Torah as archetypes and collective personalities, laws and concepts, the clear truth of this Quranic judgment emerges. Yes, archetypes are the most scientific data explaining immortality and the meeting with Allah. 2. So no parable is history in this Bible. They are universal laws, archetypes, and truths that the ancient prophets saw with clairvoyance, metaphysical discovery, and described in the language of their time, the mythological style. Most of them look to the future rather than the past. Unfortunately, mistaking them for history has confused humanity for a long time, and it has made some of the Jewish nation racist. Yes, they are not history, because there is no historical, archaeological, or paleontological data on such matters, whereas humanity has scoured all over the earth. Also, if they are history, there are many contradictions in those holy books. However, these holy books seem to be sublime, universal knowledge and laws rather than contradictions. To see the contradictions that arise if they are history, you can refer to Rahmatullah Hindi's book Izar al-Haq. The Quran, however, unequivocally denies any contradiction or falsification in that holy book. It insists repeatedly and repeatedly that mankind, especially the Jews, should work with it. Al-Ma'idah 44-48. It presents it as the memory and software of the universe. Quran, book article. 3. When we look at this holy book from a metaphysical and archetypal point of view, when we evaluate this precious heritage of humanity, it becomes clear that it should not be the texts that Westerners from the Age of Enlightenment to the present day have dismissed as superstition. Yes, if the West, in this century of science, would once again embrace the Torah and the Bible, which is the explanation of the spiritual dimension of the Torah, religion, science, peace would be achieved. The Messiah would truly have come, and humanity would enter a golden age. 4. However, both these old understandings and excuses of the West and the Jewish scholars who did not see them as abstract and metaphysical truths and embraced the Kabbalah, which depicts the universe and existence as a realm of evil and demons in contradiction to the absolute divine sovereignty, have been the cause of humanity's misery for 300 years. Kabbalah focuses more on the archetype of Satan. 5. The Torah's use of the term Beni Israel, sons of Israel, with different subjects is because the term is not exclusive to the Jews in the sense of a pious civilized nation, but refers to any nation that is piously civilized. Indeed, as the texts make clear, sometimes these are Jews, sometimes Arabs, sometimes Ottomans, and sometimes Europeans. Indeed, it is also true that they sometimes indulged in idolatry, abandoning religion and civilization and indulging in idolatry. The word Israel means the one who overcame all the natural laws of Allah, especially hunger and disease, and dominated the universe. It is the adjective name of Jacob. Archetypically, it means all civilized ascetic humanity that possesses Adamhood. Bahaeddin Saglam.